The debt ceiling has also been raised hundreds of times in the past. So is this time different?
This time is different because it exists during a period in which America is very, very divided, that essentially one side will blame the other if they don't get it done. But in the end, both sides will suffer the wrath of the majority of Americans if somehow this doesn't get worked out. I believe that we are almost guaranteed to have this kind of brinksmanship whenever there is something on the line. It's an action-forcing event. It gives the leaders of the parties a reason to rally their troops. Republicans have done a pretty good job of showing the strength that they have in their position over the last couple of weeks. Just a few weeks ago, Joe Biden once said he wasn't inclined to meet with these folks, but now they are meeting, and we'll see if it begins a period of more intense negotiation.
So the 14th Amendment has been discussed as an option for the president. How would that work?
I'm not familiar with that very much. I'm not an expert on the 14th Amendment, so you're just going to have to get somebody else to answer that question. But I do think the president's hands are tied. This is essentially a deal that he's going to have to work out on the Hill with a group of members that are probably not in the end going to be Kevin McCarthy or Mitch McConnell. There were a half a dozen members of the Republican Senate caucus that did not sign on to a debt ceiling letter to President Biden last week. Those are people like John Kennedy of Louisiana, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. Some of those members are going to be part of a deal where some moderate Republicans join with Democrats in the end to solve this problem.
Terry, I appreciate your candidness on the 14th, because I've heard it explained a number of times, and I don't know that I understand it any better.
Yeah, I just know what I don't know.
That's right. I agree with you there. I appreciate that. So talk about Republicans' proposal. Is it unusual to tie spending cuts to a debt ceiling debate right now?
No, and in fact, it's very much the way things get done in this town. The last couple times that we've had a debt ceiling raise, it was where we were able to extract some promises of cutting spending, some reforms in other categories. So this is not unusual. What's unusual is for Joe Biden to really be so recalcitrant at this point. He knows he's going to have to deal with the Republicans to get some of them to vote to raise the debt ceiling. And I just think we're just at the very beginning of what will be a very intense 2 weeks.
Do you think he loses any leverage, that his recent poll numbers are even lower than they were at last check?
I think he's already lost leverage. The Republicans showed that they can put a vote of majority of the House of Representatives to a debt ceiling and debt reduction package that also includes some very popular permitting reform. The Republicans in the Senate have sided with their colleagues in the House. The Republicans are showing that they're pretty united right now, and Joe Biden has a little bit of a negotiating position to really try to strengthen today during the meetings.
I think everyone can agree we don't want to default on our nation's debt, so some sort of agreement has to be worked out. But let's talk about what if for just a moment. It's never happened before. What does happen if the U.S. defaults?
Well, the U.S. stops paying people. The federal government will stop giving checks to the millions of people who work for the federal government. All the debts that we owe, that the payments that be made by the Treasury. See, we've already incurred these debts. So we already owe this money. So it's like it's your own home. If you don't pay your bills, you start to lose things. You lose your house, you lose your car. You know, it's very much a big deal, only this is the American economy. It's the biggest economy in the world, and billions of people rely on us to have a stable economy. So there's a lot at stake.
Right. And then Medicare is at stake. Social Security is at stake. Military
Social
funding.
Security checks won't go out. Exactly.
Right. So there are large implications. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.